Oration will be offered by Katy Ward, a master's student in public health from San Diego, California, and a great-granddaughter of President Oaks.
We want to be among the 5 humble who were admitted to the presence of the Lord. The Lord loves all of his children and longs for their return. But we all know examples of returned missionaries who have interrupted their spiritual growth by periods of inactivity. We know of youth who have jeopardized their spiritual growth by separating themselves from church teachings, such as those who are expressing little desire to be married or to have children.
They are not free to alter the divinely decreed pattern that only men will hold offices in the priesthood.
Travis Wingozel. So I'm wearing the white. As yesterday, everybody now knows about Katy Ward, the great-granddaughter of Dallin Harris Oaks, president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And it didn't occur to me when I watched it of who she was, her name, and yet nonetheless she got my full attention. As you all know who saw my videos, the few of you, because she was wearing a white dress with red high heels. If you're a guy, I just anti-squeak this chair. Come on, not fair. And so guys don't typically get involved in this, and that's why they don't want to go with their girlfriend or wife to the clothing store and sit and watch them on a catwalk parading all the different clothes that the store has to offer for hours and hours. Guys are only interested in getting their clothes off anyway. And women don't understand that about guys. And so women, instead of asking a guy's opinion, they always go to their besties. Because the besties go and watch the catwalks. And women are also into coloring. And this is partly because of the professional world of modeling and fashion shows. that tell you you can't wear white after Labor Day, or you only can wear black at a funeral. Stuff like that. But it's even more detailed when you got psychologists who entered into the realm to attach color with attitude and feelings. So back in the 60s or 70s, it was in the 70s when the mood ring was passed around at school. And there was even some other mood thing that came out. Memories on the corner of my mind. And so, yeah, mood rings, and mood rocks, and mood strips were the big thing one point in time. There was also psychologists who were doing that. Behind all of that, psychologists came from Nazi Germany, and they're thanking their American liberators ever since. That's why they use the same tactics that they used on the Jews in World War II Nazi Germany on the 3 here in Utah, gassing them to death. And the employee is not getting terminated and locked up in prison. The guy abandoned them. And at least manslaughter, 3 counts of aggravated vulnerable adults. Come on, Utah. What the hell is wrong with you guys? Governor Cox and Sister Homewrecker Mendenhall are out on a date in Milan, and nobody wants to do their job anymore. Anyway, get back to my comfort zone. And so, that's why I put in the video the color meaning of what she was wearing. I didn't know yet what her name was. Like I said, I didn't pay attention. I went back this morning and found out. And so I'm impressed with her, in case anybody's confused. A woman wearing a white dress with red high heels symbolizes a bold, confident, and sophisticated blend of purity and passion. The combination uses the stark white to create a dramatic contrast, making the red high heels a focal point that signifies power, independence, and a desire to be noticed. And if you don't notice her, oh, you are in the doghouse. Confidence and power. But again, women, remember, we're guys. They're not all like me. And I don't know if we'll be getting into the repeat of why I'm into women's fashion from my childhood by my mom. Nonetheless, we'll see how the video goes. So the key symbolism and interpretations, I noticed AI overview on Google is now linking to the source where they're getting their information from now, after I have humiliated them and exposed them as the fraud that they are. Confidence and power. See, there's really no need for an AI overview if all they're going to do is highlight one particular link. Just put the link at the top. Hello? You know, like you used to do. Well, other people started putting in the wrong name of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so, as the major stockholders, we were forced to make this change. It's called a crime. They're good. Confidence and power. Red heels are often associated with strength, dominance, and a daring, nonconformist attitude. She's the great-granddaughter, president of the church. And he's now in his meeting. Ripping Cook a new one. Activating him, I mean. I like her. Color red is universally linked to desire, love, and high energy. Contrast and balance. The white dress provides a clean, neutral, or innocent backdrop, which highlights the fiery, dramatic nature of the red shoes. The white dress was for great-grandpa. The red shoes was for great-grandpa. I like her. Women. Mormon women. You guys are awesome. I wish all of you could be my daughters. Since I ain't gonna get a fiery, passionate one for myself. Nonetheless, this is how I always envision my two daughters that I never get to see, is that they are this attitude. But they weren't raised by me, so not likely. And then fashion-forward statement. This combination is considered a chic way to add a pop of color, often used to make a grand, memorable entrance. Mission accomplished, girl. Mission accomplished. And they still tried to suppress you somewhat because of the cameraman who failed. I mean, seriously, dude. Or was it a chick? Because if it was a woman, I'd be very disappointed, because women will focus on the woman and whoever it is that they're photographing. But apparently whoever this was clearly a guy. Most likely a freshman. Especially the freshman on the audio. So, Katy. Need to focus on Katy. Katy. She's a SoCal girl. from San Diego. Yep. I knew I liked her. I'm a SoCal guy. Back in my teen years. Yep. Dear God. But what is fascinating about her is also the tragedy in this story. Her great-granddaddy got leaked in 2020 by a little sister missionary. There is no indication she went on a mission. So, if she is from SoCal, she would have graduated at 18 years of age, gone to BYU, didn't go on a mission. She's pursuing a master's in public health, which means 2 years for the bachelor's, and now she's in the 2 years for a master's. Unless she did an associate's, so that it's a 4 years for the associates and the bachelor's combined. I'm not sure how they would do things. Bricks College, for example, I got an associate's, just a basic graduation there, and then went on to the University of Lethbridge, where all the classes that I took was formed into 2 bachelors with a minor, rather than a master's, or a bachelor's and a master's. But because of the variation of the classes, it had to be that way, I guess. Whatever. I didn't really care. I was there for the courses that I wanted to take, for what I wanted to become. Abused and hated by Mormons. With a scientific method. Proving Joseph Smith and the Book of Mormon are true through the scientific method. And so, she was clearly making a statement to her great-grandfather, who's the president of the church. She is not happy with him. She very likely has heard many of his talks and knows Mormons who have told her about her great-granddaddy's talks. And one of the most horrific ones that he gave was one that I did a review of under Nelson's reign in ministry, was on pornography. And I had found the meme of Oaks with a daughter or granddaughter at some banquet celebration thing for her and her friend. I don't think they are both his. I think one of them is the friend, if I remember back on the person who posted this meme. Oaks hates women. He wants you subjugated. He wants you as breeders. And so, yeah, that's why it's so refreshing and awesome to see a granddaughter being the black sheep of the family, dressed in white with red high heels. Because his quote from the conference talk, as April 2005 is on the meme, and then most likely is because I got it and I did the video of it, and I use the clip frequently, often in connection with psychologists who told that woman who went to family services to take drugs for her problem that the church caused. Young women, please understand that if you dressed immodestly, You are magnifying this problem by becoming pornography. And so I just merely drop off to some of the men who see you. No, you're porn. You are beautiful, and that is why you are porn. But as I've had to correct everybody because of their inability to translate with the mantle title, that they don't even claim the title of translator. So they don't have the mantle of translator either then. I do, and I got powers. Porn comes from prostitute. Prostitute is before the carving in stone. And it was attached to the temple workers of the Greeks, who can't own property, can't have a job. They're subjugated to be purchased by men to breed. And so the Greeks, for women who don't get a husband or whose husband died and they have no parents to go back to, provided a way for them to be utilized in society for raping purposes, paying to be raped. Aren't the Greeks just so great to their people? And that's the way it was. The Jews called this, when it was done by the Greeks to the Jerusalem temple, the abomination of desolation. It wasn't just the altering of the temple that needed to be set in order. Also the practice of polygamy, prostitution polygamy. And technically it's not, well, yeah, it's a temple union, marriage. Well, so yeah, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints practices this temple prostitution of the ancient Greeks. They don't want to do the Roman version where women are strong, powerful, independent, don't need a man, but because of the church, they got a man and they're the major breadwinners anyway, so the husband gets prostituted, like the Romans added to their temple worship. Tithing is prostitution, among a million other myriad of crimes that the church was shut down for in 1887. And they're not a church. They don't exist. We're a spirit entity. We're a spiritual religion, not a physical one for tax purpose. I mean, yeah, we're official religion. We get protected by the First Amendment. No, they shouldn't. They're not a religion. They tricked everybody, not just members, after they got shut down. And so Heber J. Grant was the one who filed articles of incorporation for a corporation of the defunct, non-existent, shut down for being criminal Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Not a religion, a corporation. And that's what we have been this whole time. A corporation, not a religion. It's people who are religious-minded, but we are not an official, organized religion, even though we're well organized. Because it's a corporation, not a religion. So the stunt that Nelson pulled in 2019, along with changing the law of chastity to the law of polygamy for the coming test run the very next year, which ties into the rebellion and the sad story of the great-granddaughter, Katy, is that the name changed the name of the corporation to just the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This was all the big con. So now they claim, as everybody believes it's an organized religion, that the corporation, now being changed to the name of the church, which doesn't exist, now exists. No. Oaks, would you like to explain this to the people, please? Oh, you don't want to? You don't want to confess that you're a fraud? Huh. What does that mean when you withhold evidence in court? Or you lie about the evidence? What is that called? Oaks? 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 Well, what about Cook? Cook? Can you explain it? Maybe you, D. Todd. Is James J. Hamula, who had signed an NDA, allowed to at least explain that part of the law? Hello? Still in your meeting, huh? Exactly. And the Terminator in 2008 exposed them. Even though the church just got a slap on the wrist. Because that's what he filed. It's a government document now. The Schwarzenegger Terminator couldn't establish that there is a religious entity of legality. Only the corporation, which was changed to the presiding bishopric at that time. Corporation of the presiding bishop. And so on Irene's paycheck stub, if you remember that big scandal, oh, they practice priestcraft. We got them. The financial receipt that shows they're practicing priestcraft in violation of the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. Trying to prove Section 119 is true. Exactly. It says COP. That's Corporation of the President for that one. The COB, it would be when they were called the Corporation of the Presiding Bishopric. Unless P for presiding bishop, but usually PB. Oops, movie flashback. PB. Martin Lawrence and the married couple at the beginning of the show tries to get the other person to laugh, and they get very, and that's what leads to the assumption as he thinks that she's doing PB, his boss, but it was actually the brother-in-law, his cufflinks. But that's the whole point of the movie. Drawing a blank. It's not coming to me. Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Yep, it's rated R. You guys are not allowed to watch it. You gotta remain pure, wholesome, delightsome, cleansed from sin. I'm far gone. I'm used chewing gum. Don't get mad at me, women. It's not just for you. And so, yes, Oakes has also lied for his justification of hating women, blaming women for the fall, as well as women can't hold priesthood or priesthood office, saying it's not God's will. Ain't gonna happen, women. Get over yourselves. Joseph Smith Papers, official document, primary source document, 17th of March, 1842. The whole reason for the Relief Society, Joseph Smith makes it very clear, telling them you can have priesthood office and priesthood. Having deacons and teachers for the Aaronic priesthood if you want. Right there in the words, Oaks. And so yes, the whole Kate Kelly thing shouldn't have happened if the church were true. Nonetheless, you see this mentality in Katy. She knows all about this of Mormonism. She's the great granddaughter of an apostle. She has no choice. So that would make you, let's see, at least 21-ish, depending on whether or not you had to take 2 years for an associate's. So that could bump it up to 23-ish. And I don't know ages. I saw Idaho News last night of what appeared to be a 12-year-old reporter. Live on location. She's 12. What the hell? You know, it is Idaho. You know, they do a lot of things early there. I think they're even trying to lower the age for driver's licenses beyond the lowered age already. So, I mean, there are very few farmers left, and that was the original justification for the lowered age. But I don't know what the justification would be now. Nonetheless. And so, yeah, being in Southern California, even though the population of Mormons is far greater than when I was there at her age as a teenager and grade schooler, because first we lived in Placentia, and there was just Laura Baker at the end of the block. And then in Corona, there were more, but they were scattered from me. Wayne Mills was in the older subdivision, separated from the water, the little stream thing that cut through. The others were over in Corona by the mountainside, in Corona High. So there was some Narconians who I didn't go to seminary with because of where we lived, and it wasn't until after I took off to Rick's that they then split off our section and put us into the Norco wards, into the Norco stake. And so that's where I gave my farewell on Mother's Day. I was in that ward, of whom I knew nobody. And I didn't even prepare a talk. So anyway, memories, corner of my mind. I do remember a San Diego girl, and then another one was Newport Beach. I don't think it was Laguna, I think it was Newport. But I met at EFY one year in August, and I drove out to go visit her for an hour. I was there at her home with her parents. And she ended up giving me a massive teddy bear, which, after I went on my mission, ended up going missing. I had a lot of stuff stolen while I was on my mission. Well, you're on your mission. You're not supposed to think of the worldly stuff anymore. It's ours. And, but coming home was fun, because there at the beach, you get the lake effect that we get here in Utah, but it's more regular there by the beach. And so a storm came in one evening as I was driving home, and lightning struck all around. And so I would drive, lightning strikes, cuts off the power to everybody's residences and businesses. And I'd drive and get to the place that was still lit, lightning strikes, boom, total darkness. It did that several times before I finally broke free, heading back home into the desert valley. So yeah, that was fun. And so yeah, there's a different cultural upbringing. Even with a higher population of Mormons, you're still a different cultural upbringing. And it is obvious with just her simple little white dress and red shoes. So the sad part that we'll finish with here. Oaks got leaked, saying he's going to cause Armageddon by running a test run first. You've had 200 years to be running test runs. You've already caused enough damage. And you're still running a test run? Was it because of me? Because I exposed you? Most likely. And this was 6 years ago. And so it would have been years before she went off to BYU to get into public health for a master's. And it's very likely that this test run of Oaks of creeping death is what resulted in Katy deciding to go into public health because of the horrors that she witnessed and experienced. I don't know if she knows about the leak, but there are over 100,000 Mormons who do. And so if she doesn't, it would be very impressive for her not to have found out. But scary if she doesn't. Scary if she does. But her wearing the white dress and the red shoes may indicate she does know. That sucks for you, Oaks. It is better see if I can find it. All the girls at Rick's knew it. They searched their scriptures with the Songs of Solomon that Kimball said he stapled shut as porn. Yeah, good job, Kimball. Calling the Bible porn. Good job. Good job. It could be wife. I don't think so. Let's try angry. 472. Is it Corna? Angry Roof. No. 5. There it is. Proverbs 21:19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Yeah, you don't want to mess with Katy. If she were a country girl, that would explain a lot too. But she's from San Diego, a SoCal girl. It's a different kind of tough. So yeah, public health prepares students to improve community, population, and global health outcomes by focusing on disease prevention, health education, and policy rather than individual clinical care, like a medical doctor. Programs cover epidemiology, biostatistics, environmental health, health policy, equipping graduates to address health disparities. And so I'm willing to bet that she's very concerned about how Trump has cut off U.S. aid to other governments who are failing to care for their people. And everybody's blaming the United States for not funding the governments who didn't help the people anyway, and that's why they constantly needed aid. But a public health master's graduate would know and understand those different issues, and thus making policy. And so yes, a very impressive woman with what she is going into. And yes, her great-grandfather is not happy with her, as he made it known yesterday as well. You're supposed to be breeding, dear. She's not married. She is not married. Which, KUTV2, I think, or Fox, somebody, either Monday or last week, or over the weekend from last week, talked about how you can't tell a woman that you don't understand why she's not married because she's so attractive. But yet, in the Mormon church, as they did not make the connection with, on purpose, that is a very common thing. And as I told you, I've done the war of the younger and older singles wards. There are numerous reasons why women are not married. It all is on an individual reason basis. And so with her, yeah, I can see being the great-granddaughter of a living prophet of Jesus who caused all the problems in the world that she's now wanting to fix. As the big one. Because, Oaks is extremely abusive. Not just to women, but also to wee boys and men. And that can tend to scare guys away, no matter how attractive you are. And so I get to bring up, again, my one-on-one with Irene's daughter. Irene was speaking at the tabernacle way back when. And I show up. I'm obviously late. The whole place was packed. But I found an empty space next to a young woman. An attractive young woman. Why aren't you married? So I asked, is this seat taken? Are you saving it for somebody? No. So she moved her stuff closer to her body to allow me to sit down next to her. And she specifically moved her scriptures engraven with her name so that I could then read it. I can read upside down too, dear. Still would have caught the name. Because you know I'm looking. Got my attention at female. And she was not wearing white or red shoes either. And so, yeah, Irene is the last name. And as I pointed to it, yeah, I'm his daughter. And he starts speaking, so we don't get to talk anymore. And then it ends, and I turn over to strike up a conversation with my wit and humor and great charm and personality, and she cuts me off. And starts saying that she's extremely frustrated and annoyed that she can't get any guy to date her because she's the daughter of a living prophet of Jesus, and runs off crying. I love you. Marry me. Whatever. Gone. Didn't even give me a chance. She just assumed. And maybe that was a breakup excuse before even hooking up. Because if I wanted to talk with her, find out more about her, you'd think she'd go, hey, he still likes me and is interested, despite being the daughter of a living prophet. And I hope she's married now, and happy, and big family, and blah, 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 and not concerned that her mother had died of Alzheimer's, or dementia, I guess it was. Therefore, it's a DNA trait, and that she'll get it, and she'll eventually die of Alzheimer's too, or dementia. Even though now technology is to the point where we can fix people's DNA to remove that malfunction in the DNA, and it grows back perfect, cured. But it's a lot of money to do, and thus is not in regular practice, especially with insurance companies that step in to stop it. Then you got Christians who say, you're playing God. You gotta have this disabled child and pay the extra money to health care. Which again, Katy, she's in the field to fix. Disease prevention, not just disease prevention. And so, yeah, I'm not sure what the great-grandmother died of. But the great-great-grandmother, yeah. And so if she is concerned about being mentally retarded like her great-great-grandmother and her great-great-grandfather, she doesn't need to worry. Psychology is a fraud. Neither of them are mentally retarded, or were mentally retarded. It was all a Nazi scam from World War II, Nazi Germany. Caused it. But, well, yeah, Oaks, yeah, post-World War II, when her husband died, if I remember correctly. So, yep, they hooked her up with psychologists fresh from Nazi Germany to thank their American liberators. That caused it. And yeah, that's tardive dyskinesia of Oaks. And so that also, the family situation also may have been a causation to lead into this. That those who are vulnerable with pre-existing conditions were the most vulnerable for creeping death. And thus she thinks that her family was especially susceptible and is wanting to fight it and fix it. But yeah, that tends to be what happens. As you pursue the career in which you are the weakest. You get emotionally, physically abused, so you go into psychology. Your house burns down, so you become a firefighter. Your parents are robbed and murdered in front of you, so you go into superheroism. Become Batman. Or the Spider-Man. The death of your uncle. Because you didn't tell him you're going to the fight ring. And Mary Jane was crushing on the guy with the vehicle. You were trying to impress her, but you were just the photo guy for the school, for the yearbook. And so she didn't really give you much time of day, even though she was right across from you. She was crushing on Spider-Man after you got bit by the radiation spider. Now I'm going on too far. But yeah, that's typically what happens if you get to choose your career field. Unfortunately, many people don't get to choose their career field, and so they go into nuclear physicism, and after graduation, all they can do is get a job flipping burgers. It's now getting replaced by AI. So, are we done then? Is there something else I can bring out? Yeah, pure, clean. That's the name, in case I forgot to do the baby name meaning. Pure, thus the white. So, she either knows her baby name meaning, and that's also why she wore the white, but as a Mormon girl, wore the red shoes. Or it's a Freudian. Because as a child, we moving from Michigan to Southern California, we stopped at a gas station that had a little store, and there was a little end table circular thing with license plates on it that had names. And my mom looked and couldn't find every child's name, and so she didn't buy anybody's name, because it has to have all of our names or none of us get anything of that. So what my mom did instead is, for Christmas, she made little name plaques, hand sewn, of course, because she's the old traditional trad wife Mormon. Crafts, sewing, all that stuff, of each of our names and the baby name meanings. And mine was "He who is from the crossroads," one of unity. But other students growing up didn't know their name even had meaning. And it's even more so now today, especially when you got parents who are just making up names or giving unique names like apple, pear, blossom. Oh, Gwyneth, it's just a guy. You're the it girl. You can get married to whoever you want. You're attractive. Why aren't you married? Why are you doing vagina-scented candles? Gwyneth, you're the it girl. Your Shakespeare in love was Shakespearean excellence. I was so inspired after that movie in the theater. It had me crying. It was awesome. Anon, good lady. So that's the big question. Does she know who she is, or is it just a Freudian? Sometimes, Travis, a pie is just a pie. Can't use cigar, duh. And so, yeah, I covered the rest of this stuff. Causing the problems, and she's trying to fix it. Does she know, or is it a Freudian? Oh, women, I want you safe from bondage, because I'm not into BDSM. Can't go there. Not that kind of guy.